You're listening to RC Flightcast podcast with Frank Betts. All right, welcome back to RC Flightcast. I'm your host, Frank, and today we're diving into the world of the designers and builders who are shaping the future of radio-controlled aviation, and those brilliant minds behind, 3D printed RC electric airplanes. So these are the people who don't just fly RC, they engineer it, and they're designing from scratch, testing, tweaking, and sharing their creations with the rest of us. And they're not working in labs. Most of them aren't, just in their own garages, basements, and spare rooms, using home 3D printers and software you can download for free or cheap. Those are two good words right there, free or cheap. But, ultimately, you need to support these designers and flyers. So, just a little side note. So let's break it down. Who are these folks? What are they building? And how is this changing the RC hobby? First off, who are the designers? And most of them aren't aerospace engineers. Some are software guys, some are mechanical engineers, but a surprising number are just passionate hobbyists who got tired of buying planes that didn't quite do what they wanted. They picked up Fusion 360 or FreeCAD, for example, learned the ropes and started designing planes from the ground up. And some of the names you might know in this space include 3D Lab Print, probably the most well-known. They set the bar with scale planes that actually fly great. Their P-51 Mustang and Spitfire are works of art. You got Eclipson. They bring sleek, modular, high-performance designs, often optimized for lightweight foam or composite printing. And then you got, I hope I say this right, PTI Kyle. He's a popular creator in the park jet and easy EDF scene, known for approachable, fast builds that fly like they're on rails. Actually, I've bought 3 of his planes and I'm printing out one right now. Coming along great on my 3D Bamboo Lab A1 printer. So you got to check him out. I kind of keep circling back around to him. He's always coming up with something new. So check him out. And then you got RC Factory 3D and Stefan B Designs. These are examples of smaller scale designers pushing, fun, unusual, or ultra lightweight designs for micro flyers and indoor planes. These people build with the rest of us in mind. They offer digital downloads of their planes, sometimes for free, sometimes for a few bucks. Most include STL files, build instructions, and recommendations for motors, servos, and ESCs. And look for YouTube videos of their builds, them test, flying the planes or giving a little advice on their designs and how to build their particular plane. So, just do a search on YouTube for that. So what kind of planes are they designing? And honestly, everything from World War II fighters to Delta Wings to float planes to racing jets. And some of the wildest stuff is stuff you don't see in the foamy world. Think experimental wing profiles, vectored thrust jets, or modular fuselages where you can swap out components on the fly. Many are also building with something called LWPLA. That's or lightweight PLA, which expands when printed to reduce weight without losing strength, and that allows for true airframe style builds with internal spars and ribs, more like real aircraft. You'll also see multi-part prints, wings split into segments, fuselages in 3 or 4 sections. It all depends, or it's all designed to print on common beds like the Ender 3 or the Bamboo A1. This modular approach makes it easy to repair, reprint, just a part, if you crash, which I'm prone to do. It's kind of nice. You screw up a part or you tear up your plane a little bit, just run back in the house, print the part, glue it back on, and you're good to go. So, what kind of gear are these planes using? Mostly the same stuff we're already flying. Small outrunner motors in the 2205 to 2216 range. 30 to 40 amp ESCs, 3S or 4S LiPo batteries, and 9 gram or 17 gram servos. Designers usually give you recommendations for power setups that work best. And some even offer optional gear doors, bomb drops, or first-person view pods for extra fun. If you're printing something like the Scout 50mm EDF or a flying wing, which I've actually built both. I'm doing the flying wing right now. The Scout 50mm EDF come out great. I haven't put it together yet. I'm looking at it right now. I've got to build this stuff. I'm printing, having more fun printing right now than I am actually doing anything else with these. So I build up my parts and my favorite planes there. I'm gonna, I'll break down and just make it a day there, put these together. So, they'll have a spot already modeled for a 50mm EDF unit and the routing for your servo wires. These builds are getting more refined with every release, and that is the truth. It's it's inevitable. Each time these guys build their planes there, they remember a little bit of a change they need to make here and there, and it makes it so much easier for us people who just print them out and fly them. So how do they test these designs? It's not as glamorous as it sounds. Most of them print 2 or 3 prototypes, hand launch into, on the field, and hope they don't explode. But they're smart. They tweak the CG, just wing incidents, maybe shave a few grams off the tail, and print it again. So it's an ongoing process. Kind of like me with my stupid little 2D scratch-built stuff that I make. That's way simpler than what we're talking about right now, but that's a whole different story. Some of them use real CFD tools, that's computational fluid dynamics, to analyze the airflow. Others just rely on years of flying experience. Either way, the test cycle is fast. You can go from CAD model to flying prototype in a weekend. So why does this matter? Here's the deal. 3D printing is democratizing RC airplane design. Back in the day, if you had a design idea, you had to scratch build from balsa, cut foam, or mold fiberglass. That took time, money, and a lot of trial and error. Now, you can share a file online and 1,000 people can download it, print it, and fly it. If it sucks, they'll let you know. And if it flies great, you might inspire a whole series of spin-off designs. It's a grassroots movement that's injecting fresh energy into the hobby. It's pulling in makers, tinkerers, and folks who might never build a balsa kit but know how to work a slicer or edit an STL file. So I guess the next question, so how do you get involved with this? Well, if you're already into RC and you've got a 3D printer, or you're thinking about getting one, there are a few ways to start. First, try printing a simple plane. The Scout 50mm EDF by PTI Kyle is a great one. Small, fast to print, and flies great on a basic EDF unit. Yep, that's technically the first one I built of his, and very cool design. My first, deal with the EDF's units. I'm just, the electric, the basic EDF unit. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, and when you download his files, he'll give you links to the different pieces of equipment that you can use. He'll lead you in the right direction. And of course, you make the ultimate decision. Oh gosh, I got a crazy dog in the background. There he goes outside. Second, get familiar with slicing for RC. Use Cura or Cura Slicer, boy, tongue twister. Use Cura or Orca Slicer. Turn on variable wall thickness and learn about layer bonding, cooling settings, and support strategies. 3D planes are different than figures or brackets. They need strength and lightweight. So, third, join communities. Get on, check out different forums. Facebook has a lot of good ones there. The 3D Printed RC Planes group on Facebook, the RC Planes subreddit, and Discover servers like Foamy Builders or 3D Aero are full of people sharing prints, tuning tips, and successful stories of their builds. And last, if you got your own idea, try designing something. Start with a simple profile plane in a CAD program. Work from a 3-view drawing. Add internal spires. Test it in foam first, or mix an existing STL. That's how most of these builders even got started. So yeah, just do your own little testing. Have a little patience and see what you come up with there. It's you just never know. So wrapping it up. The people designing and building 3D printed RC electric airplanes aren't just part of the hobby. They're redefining it. And they're giving the rest of us more options, more freedom, and a whole new way to interact with flight. So that would end my regular podcast segment, but I'm going to go ahead and dip into the 3D printer itself here. Give you some ideas on this. And you might be wondering, what's a good 3D printer for someone like me? Not for cosplay, not for action figures, but for printing wings, firewalls, servo mounts, motor mounts, and full airframes. So let's get into it. First up, the basics. You don't need a $1,000 printer to make awesome RC parts. What you do need is a decent build volume, reliable extrusion, a heated bed, and good support for filaments like PLA, PETG, or LWPLA. And most RC parts don't require ultra high resolution, but they do need strong layer adhesion and predictable results. Now, printer recommendations. Let's talk budget to mid-range printers that RC folks are loving right now. And the first one is the one I have, which is the Bamboo Lab A1 or A1 Mini. And I'd really suggest, whatever you do with a 3D printer, if you get into it, I'd go ahead and grab the A1 because it has a good sized bed on it for just about anything you want to build. So this one's on my bench, and I can say it's a beast. Fast, quiet, great bed adhesion, and it works well with LWPLA right out of the box. The A1 Mini has a smaller bed, but still big enough for most flyer parts and printed airframes like PTI Kyle's Scout 50mm plane. So if you want multicolor prints or auto filament loading, the A1 Combo adds AMS Light. Handy but not required for RC work. I don't use that. I just use a single element, like gray, and then I'll switch out the filament and maybe print the wings in yellow or whatever you want to do like that. I just separate all that for each part. But AMS is nice, but I'm finding out that I really don't use it that much for anything because it wastes a lot of filament when you combine colors and what have you. But that's, again, a whole different story. So you got the Creality Ender 3 version 3 SE or the version 3 KE. The Enderline is a staple in the 3D print world, and for good reason. Affordable, mod friendly, and with a large enough bed to handle wing sections, fuselage pieces, and brackets. If you're the type who doesn't mind a bit of tinkering, these are great values. So just make sure to upgrade the extruder and use Cura or Orca Slicer for RC settings. Then you have the Prusa MK4 or the Mini Plus. It's a little pricier, but rock solid. If you want set it and forget it reliability, Prusa delivers. The MK4 is a great It's great for full airframes and longer prints. The Mini Plus is smaller but still good for parts and modular builds. Bonus, their support and community are top notch, and I believe that. It's the Prusa. In fact, I think if I was ever to get another 3D printer, I'd probably go for that MK4. Not the Mini, but the MK4. So what about resin printers? I don't know anything about those, so skip it for RC airframes. Resin is better for tiny detailed prints, great for cockpit dials or pilot figures, but not practical for wings or fuselages. Stick with FDM printers for strength and size. Filament capability matters. Look for a printer that can handle PLA for general parts, and then you got PETG for strength and heat resistance, and then you got the LWPLA for full airplane builds. It's light, tough when printed right, and a direct drive extruder is ideal for LWPLA. Bowden tubes can struggle with its foaming nature, so remember that. So final thoughts, if you're just starting out, get a printer with good community support. Big Discord or Facebook group is a lifesaver when something goes sideways, and that is so true. Between Facebook and Discords and YouTube, you can get a lot of answers if you have any kind of problems. And remember, this hobby isn't just for flying anymore. With a 3D printer on your bench, you're also the engineer, the mechanic, and the manufacturer. Because I build my own little parts, little extras for my airplane, like engine mounts, little battery pack holders, control horns, hinges. You can build anything. A lot of it's free. You just download it, print it out, and you're good to go. So, all right, thanks for listening to RC Flightcast. You can reach me anytime at frontcentermusician@gmail.com. And do appreciate everybody listening to these podcasts, and I do appreciate the emails I do get, and I somehow try to incorporate those into my podcasts, as I get them. So, thank you. Hey, keep flying, and we'll see you later.